Hi, I'm Jessica and I'm here to share with you today my thoughts on our topic this week, which is being renewed in faith. So Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1 says, faith is a confidence that what we hope for will actually happen. It gives us assurance about the things we cannot see. So as Christians, we all have faith. It's believing God and taking God at his word, trusting in him and believing in his promises, and it's pursuing Christ in this life no matter what. Faith is a conviction and certainty that God is with us, and it's also the antidote to all our fears in this life. As believers, we all experience seasons where our faith is tested. The past 8 months have been challenging for us all. I just want to remind you of a verse in James chapter 1 from verse 2. It says, when troubles come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. So I just want to just talk to you about that for a bit, because it's easy for us to be really fearful about situations that we're facing, especially in 2020, but also individual situations that we might face. And as believers, when your faith gets tested, sometimes it's easy to just question, where's God in all of this? But, God is faithful. God remains. He is always there in every situation that you might find yourself in. And we can grow our faith on a daily basis, but especially in those times that we might find challenging. Luke chapter 17 from verse 5, the apostle said to the Lord, show us how to increase our faith. And the Lord answered, if you had faith even as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mulberry tree, may you be uprooted and thrown into the sea, and it would obey you. And I find that really encouraging, because you might feel at the moment that you're lacking in faith, or your faith needs to be renewed. But actually, Jesus tells us that you only need faith as small as a mustard seed for him to accomplish great things in your life. You just have to be willing to put into practice, the guidelines and, the things that we learn in the Bible. And our faith has actually been likened to our muscles in our body. So in order for us to grow our muscles, you grow them by putting them under stress, you exercise them, and you also need a healthy diet to feed those muscles. And in the same way, we can grow our faith. We can grow it by having a healthy diet, by reading God's word, by meditating on it, by applying it to our lives, by spending time with God in prayer. And the exercising is actually putting into practice what you read in the Bible and applying it to your life. Just in the same way that our muscles grow when they're under stress, so our faith can grow when we're under stress. For most of us, if we look back over the times where you might be feeling discouraged, or you've had a situation that felt really overwhelming, if you prayerfully commit that situation to God and submit fully that situation to him, you will have found that no matter how hopeless it was, that God actually carried you through, and you should have experienced it. Despite your faith being tested, it actually grew, and our faith in times of troubles really can grow, because you have to rely totally on God. So if you are going through a season right now and you're feeling discouraged, I would just encourage you to believe fully in the promises that God has in his word. God is faithful, he's loving, God is always there, he remains constant and he's unchanging, and he is ready to forgive, he is ready to show you his unconditional love. I know for myself, I've had periods over the past 6 years where my faith has been really tested, and it's been tested in every angle conceivable, and there were times where I really struggled and I did feel like giving up, and I wouldn't wish any of those situations on anyone else. But despite that, I am thankful that I went through those experiences, because when I look back, it's so much easier to see God at work in each of those situations, and actually joining the dots together now. Whilst you're in that situation, it can seem overwhelming, and you can literally just feel like you are surviving, you're just making it through. But actually, when you look back and you reflect on it, you can really see God's hand at work. And now when I look back over the past 6 years, I'm thankful for every situation that I went through. At times it literally felt like the carpet had been pulled from beneath my feet, and everything that I was so used to, all the stability, all the security was completely taken away. But during that time, I am so thankful, because it was those situations that actually brought my husband to faith and resulted in his salvation. So I thank God for that, because, you know, those situations although they were testing my faith, God was able to use those to bring about something beyond my comprehension, and I'm so thankful for it. So I would just encourage you this morning to remember God's faithfulness to you in the past, and remind yourself of the transformation that he's already brought about in your life. Think about all of the doors that God has opened, all the answers to prayer that you've seen, even if they're really small answers to prayer. You know, be thankful for them, because it is a blessing that God has shown you. So take the time to reflect, because when you acknowledge and recognise God's faithfulness as displayed in your life to date, it's a testimony to his faithfulness in your future, because he is unchanging and because he is faithful to us. I would also encourage you to share with others the blessing that you've received, not in a boastful way, but in a way of really celebrating and being thankful to God for all that he's done. In Psalm chapter 9 verse 1, it says, "I will praise you, Lord, with all my heart. I will tell of the marvellous things you have done." And for us to renew our faith by actually reminding yourself of all of the things that God has done for you in the past, or by hearing of other people's testimonies, it strengthens and renews and builds your faith for the future.